What's up, beauties? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be doing a partial foil with just about 20 or less foils to make your client have lots of pretty dimensional, gorgeous highlights with minimal amount of time. And I'm going to show you my strategic placement and my foiling technique to get these results and this look to get your client in and out of the door quickly and efficiently. So if you are interested in working smarter, not harder, stay tuned for the rest of this tutorial.
Let's go, let's lead, let's hit, let's go. Holy hit, let's go, let's go, let's go.
So this is my beautiful sister-in-law today. She decided to cut a few of her own layers in there. Even though she has me to cut her hair, she just decided to get crafty. So we're thinking that we are actually going to cut her length a little shorter to help blend those layers. And we're thinking that shorter for summer is gonna look pretty anyways. So her hair always goes really warm because she has hard water. So we're gonna try to tone some of that warmth out and get her blonder for summer. So I'm gonna be showing you my blonding technique. I'm gonna be using a minimum amount of foils for maximum brightness. So stay tuned for the rest of this video. I'm just gonna take a little bit of the bulk of the length off, and as you can see where she chopped in those layers, I can blend this pretty well, but we are gonna take a little bit of length off, so probably about here that I'm gonna take off, and I'm just gonna do a dry cut before we start foiling so that I can get everything all trimmed, and it'll just make it easier to work with because obviously she does have a lot of hair. So I'm gonna cut it at about here. So I normally have my client hold their chin up higher while I bring each section to the front. I just trim off these little pieces in the front to make everything even so that there's no weird strands hanging down. And I'm going to be using my Framar tools. These rosé foils are so cute. And then I have my magical Framar comb that I am going to show you how I use this. I've been obsessed with this comb. It is one of those combs that you push up through the section and it teases and weaves for you. So it almost gives you a weaved teasy light without having to do any of the work. So you're gonna save so much time using this comb. And so I'm gonna show you how I use that. And I got my Framar board and my clips all set up, and of course my coffee. Can I just say, I literally feel like I'm in like a Barbie playhouse with all my Framar tools. They're so cute. They're all like pink and girly. Look how fun this color brushes. It's so fun. I've always just been like plain Jane, like black tan brushes, and now I'm like pops of color. I have Schwarzkopf Blonde Me mixed up with 15 volume, and the way I got 15 volume is I mixed the 7 volume with the 20 to give us a 15 because that's gonna give us a really good lift on her hair, and we're not gonna need to mix up more, so I mixed 20 grams of the powder with 40 grams of the developer, so it was 20 and 20, 20 of 7 and then 20 of 20. And then I have my tools all ready to go. I'm gonna be starting in the back section, and I'm gonna do these foils really quickly. Section out 3 sections in the back here. So we're doing the side, the back, the bottom back, and then the other side. So cleaning up this side here. So I'm just gonna do 2 foils on each section here, so it's going to be about 6 foils on the bottom hairline in total. So I've got my section here, and we're going to be touching up the root of her new growth. And then as you can see, she just has one little piece that needs to go to the end. So I'm just gonna pull this up, bring it up into our highlight. And I have been using this comb on all of my clients lately, and I've been loving the results. The thing with this comb is it almost gives you the result of a teasy light without having to do all the work and fuss with having to tease your client's hair and then combing out all of the teased hair later. And you can also get closer to the root with this. So whenever you're normally doing a teasy light, you can't get super close to the root because everything's all teased up. So with this, it's just so much easier to get close to the root and get a really natural result. And it's so easy, just in 3 quick steps. So going into using this Framar comb, I'm just going to take a slice. I am going to take the comb and poke it up through the section and then split the top from the bottom, and I'm going to pull those apart really good. Then I'm going to take my board and foil and put that up into the section, and look at that perfect weave. Like I said, this weaves and gives you the effect of a teasy light all in one. So it's gonna weave for you, and since it weaves it like through the section, that's how you get that teasy light softness. So I've got 6 foils down here on the hairline section. That is gonna give her some good dimension when she pulls her hair up. And then I'm gonna take down this whole section here, and I'm just gonna add in just a few foils in her crown. So I'm gonna do 1 foil right here straight across, and this is right at her occipital bone. So I'm gonna poke this up through, get us a nice foil. And this comb, you guys, I cannot stress how obsessed I am with this comb because it saves so much time in the salon. Think about how much time you take weaving, and look at that perfect weave. Just look at that. That's from the comb. It is like the most perfect weave. I could spend 5 minutes trying to weave that section out, and I would never get that perfect of a weave. I will link this comb in the description box for you to purchase. It is a lifesaver. It saves so much time in the salon, and I just kind of feel cool when I use it. I'm like, this is cool. I'm gonna do another foil right in the middle. So I'm gonna slice, and then I'm gonna poke my comb through, get that section, separate that out really, really good. You wanna, after you poke your comb through, you wanna pull these sections apart with a good amount of tension, because that's going to make it to where you can get this as close to the root as possible without having any bleed marks or any overlaps. You wanna get this really close to the root. And the reason why we're leaving a lot of hair in between is because that's gonna give us tons of dimension with her color, and it's going to also make the blonde highlights that we're doing really pop. Okay, so coming up into her crown, you can see we're starting to get into this curved part of the section up top here. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna do probably about 2 or 3 more foils. So I'm gonna split this in half, and I'm gonna do another foil right here, and I'm just gonna slice, poke this up through. And I would consider this a partial highlight. Whenever you're charging for your services, you wanna consider, yeah, we did do less amount of foils, but we're doing a very advanced technique here, and the placement is very precise. So when you have precision placement and you're doing a more of the advanced technique, you want to make sure you're charging enough for that. So that is why I would recommend charging for a partial highlight for this technique here and this foil pattern that I'm doing, because it is going to give your client a really, really beautiful result. So coming up onto the curved part of her crown, I am going to be taking a section right here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna part up this little piece. And I'm gonna clip this out of the way. And that's just that curved part of the crown. And just under that, I'm gonna be taking a section. So I'm gonna slice, and I'm gonna poke my comb up, do our weave. And then I'm gonna do a highlight here. And you may notice that I'm pretty picky about my saturation. I take an extra little bit of time to make sure that everything is evenly coated and that there's no clumpy lightener anywhere in the foil. You want to make sure that all of the strands are equally coated. And I did an entire video on proper saturation on my channel. I will link that video here, but that is going to give you some great tips in saturation to completely reduce swelling so that you don't have any swelling, no bleeding on your foils, and you get perfect results every single time. Coming to the front of her hair, I am going to be sectioning out. So like I said, I have her sectioned where she normally parts her hair, and I'm going to be doing some foils right on her part. In addition to, I'm going to do some face frame. So I'm going to do her face frame foils first, and then I'm going to go into doing the foils around her part. All right, so I'm sectioning out her face frame, and everyone's hairline is going to be different. So this is where you want to customize this for your particular client. Someone could have a widow's peak, someone could have, you know, a lot of hair loss around their hairline. Hairlines are very different depending on the client. So you want to go with your client's natural hairline whenever you're doing those foils. So here we have her front piece going on, and as you can see, there's a little bit of disconnect between the front and the side, and that is okay. We're gonna work around this. So we're gonna do a really soft face frame. I'm gonna do foil here, foil up here, foil here, and I'm gonna do 2 on either side. Just like I did with her bottom hairline, I did 2 in each section. I'm gonna do that same technique kind of idea around the front hairline here. on to our final foils, I'm gonna go in on her part. So as you can see, we have her parted out where she parts her hair. And if you have a client that flip-flops their part on different sides, you can do a couple foils, you know, just strategically place that where you know they're gonna flip and part their hair. Okay, so I'm gonna start on this side first, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 2 back-to-back foils. So I'm gonna pick this section up a little bit, and I'm going to clip it so that we don't mess up our partings here. I'm gonna take a fine section, and I'm gonna toss my comb. Oh my word. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna take a fine section and I'm gonna do what I've been doing across her whole head, is using my magical Framar comb to weave, do our teasy weave, our natural teasy weave, and I'm going to highlight this section. All right, and then I'm going to take this section down, and I am going to do a foil right on her part. So I'm going to take a horizontal parting, and I'm just leaving a little bit of hair in between, and I'm going to section this out, and then I'm going to foil this. And this is going to give us a touched up highlight right on her part. So she's gonna see this when she does her hair. And it's gonna be so refreshed and so gorgeous. Okay, so we just did 2 foils on that side. And then I'm gonna swing her around, and I'm gonna do the same thing on this other side parting here. I'm gonna section this over about a 1/2 inch. And I'm gonna do 1 foil here. And I love to use my board whenever I'm foiling. It just gives me such a nice flat surface, and I feel like I can really tighten it up on the client's head to get really close to the root as well. Take down her parting here, and I am going to take this right on her part. This is going to be our last foil. Okay, and this is going to be our last foil that we're doing. Close that up. Notice how gorgeous these rosé foils are. These are so cute. All right, and she's all ready to process. I am actually going to put her under the dryer to process. Come on over. Use my dryer over. So I let her process for 20 minutes under the dryer, and she is ready to rinse. I'll show you what her foils look like. And so they're gonna be past the point of yellow to give her a nice bright blonde. And I've got her gloss all mixed up. I am using Redken Shade ZQ. I mixed up 15 grams of 10P and 15 grams of 9P. And that turns out so beautiful on her hair. I feel like the P formula really neutralizes any golden tones and gives you such a pearlescent, pretty, platinum-y, bright blonde color. So I'm gonna get her foils pulled, get her all rinsed, do a quick little shampoo, apply her gloss, let that process for 20 minutes, and then I'll show you what her hair looks like after. So this is gonna be her after result. Look how natural those highlights look. And that little money piece is popping up front. And I love how natural that foiling comb makes it. It is just so pretty. So these are the highlights we did right on her part, and it just looks so natural. It's so gorgeous, so pretty, and she still has all that depth in there, which is gonna make the highlights pop. So if you part her hair right here, she's still got all that depth, but then on top, she's got all those fresh highlights. And this is why we did those highlights at the crown area too, because that is going to make it to where we don't have like this dark hole back here. We have some highlights going on. So we did the back here, and it just looks so pretty. Look how natural that is. So when she pulls her hair up, she's going to have that natural highlight underneath, and she's not going to have to worry about having too much of a contrast. And I blended those layers to give her a soft, long layered cut. We cut off some of that length, and we both agree that this looks so good on her.
Let's go, let's leave, let's hit, let's go.